Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. I have my girlfriend joining us today, and we're going to be breaking down at least the top 10 stocks that our members that are tuning in live today post in the ticker call out format. If you guys have never tuned on in, welcome. Our Sunday Stock Talk is one of our most popular weekly live events where every single Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we go live together as a team, and I simply take time to break down the top stocks that you see value in. It's that simple. Markets open Monday through Friday, and we find it somewhat effective and efficient to be able to kind of like collect our thoughts over the weekend, and then to be able to jump onto the market on Monday on a positive note. We want to make sure that we have a general understanding of kind of what's going on. So that's the whole point of this. I really hope that throughout this video I earn your thumbs up, and if I do, don't forget to drop a like. If you guys have any comments, drop those down in the comment section. But for all those that love to ask what platform I use the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. It is one of many platforms available. It is not the best, it is simply the one that I use. So again, there's a video on my YouTube that shows you how to set it up. But on top of that, there's so many amazing brokerages out there. I would encourage you and empower you to think about what you want a brokerage to provide for you, and then see which brokerage best fits your needs. So I really hope that you guys are all excited for this. It should be a very quick Sunday Stock Talk. All I ask you to do is, I think that we can all agree that we work really hard for our money, right? Therefore, I wanted to work really hard for you. Therefore, I want to make sure that you've dedicated time to break down the stock that you're sharing with me. That is why we ask the members that tune on in, like Scotty, like we have going on right here, he posted it in the ticker call out format, meaning that he posted the ticker symbol where he sees the support and resistance, his desired entry point, sell point, stop loss, and why it has potential. Therefore, I know that he's dedicated time to think about that trade and not just share the ticker symbol. If you simply share the ticker symbol, I will not break down the stock for you. That's simple. So with that being said, I'm going to break down Scotty's and then we can go from there. So it's going to be AVYA. And we're going to have Megan, right, help us break down these stocks. So the reason that I find it to be, I got a lot of positive feedback by having her in last week's Sunday Stock Talk, and correct me if I'm wrong, but people find it very effective. While I'm breaking down stocks, instead of me just talking to the camera, I'm explaining to someone that's an absolute beginner about why don't I see value in something. So you can almost kind of take Megan's perspective, right, and me explaining why I see value in something or why I don't. So we want Weston. Oh,
wow. Ouch.
Wow, you're
Ouch,
below Weston. First time joining Daycare Center. What's going on? So yeah, hope you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. Hopefully you guys had a blessed weekend, and hopefully you guys are excited for this upcoming week. Battle of the Blondes.
Yeah, Weston.
Right? What?
Where is Weston?
He's working on the video upstairs, yeah. So let's go ahead and break this one down very quickly. So on the 180-day chart, I can see, so based off of recent patterns on Friday, this thing pushed up 30%. So that's huge. That's not normal at all. And looking at the way that it normally trades, right, and the way that it normally performs, it's a descending pattern, right? So if I were to ask you, if you had $1,000 and that you were to put right here, right, and then, so about 5 months ago, and now we're here. Is this showing signs of growth?
No.
So if you were to fund your account here and then it's down here, no, right? It's a descending pattern overall. So is this something that you want to swing trade? Do you know what swing trading is?
It's like long term, right?
It's holding it for more than one day, right? Day trading is buying and selling of the same, commodity within the same day. So swing trading means that, let's say you would have held it for 4 months, 4 or 5 months. What do you want to do that with this? No. Can this make sense that okay, it pushed up about 30% on Friday. Look at the RSI, look at the MACD. Indicators are a good reference to go off of. You never want to solely rely off of any indicators. Altogether, what we can say here, and I think that a lot of you guys could agree, is that it's most likely bound to pull back. One of the first things that I would empower you to do is to learn a little bit more about what led to the push, what led to such huge demand and driving the price up 30%. There has to be some form of news, regardless if it's real or not, right? On top of that, if you didn't partake in this 30% growth already, then what's bound to follow? Does it have to continue to uptrend? No. Can it? Yes. Is it worth the risk? That's up to you to decide, right? So what I'll do is I'll set my alert. We'll see how this thing opens on Monday, so tomorrow, and we can simply follow up with it. But we could see that it pushed up so aggressively that it's just bound to pull back. And looking at previous patterns, it just normally doesn't hold very well. So because of that, I would say that I'm going to have to move on to overextended and a downtrending pattern. Nope, sir. Again, and it's not that it's like that I'm saying that it's, bad or right or anything like that. I'm just sharing why I don't see value in it. There's a lot of things that I might not see value in, but still could work out according to plan in your eyes, right? Therefore, again, this is the whole reason that we take time for our Sunday Stock Talks, is to share each other's opinion and then what the thought process is behind that. So I hope that regardless if you agree or disagree with someone, that you could at least respect maybe why they might see value in something or give something a chance. So Christopher, it is calling out Microsoft, MSFT. All right. What do you think about this one? We talked about this one last week.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so looking at this, it was showing signs of an uptrend pattern, right? So if you put $1,000 here and then it ends up being here, it's plateauing, right? So we talked about that. And what we mean by that is if we followed up from it, followed up with it from last week, it was selling off. This week it's been pushing up. But based off of recent patterns, it's been really struggling to make higher highs. It doesn't mean that it can't, it just means that it hasn't, right? Again, looking at these simple indicators, you can see that, okay, it's not so much of a good deal. Looking at previous resistance levels right around 140, and with where it's at right now, the margin of profit is about 1%. The margin of loss is much greater. Is that worth the risk?
No.
No, right? It's very simple. It's like the profits do not outweigh the risk. Therefore, in my eyes, it doesn't have the best reward to risk ratio. If you're part of Learn, Plan, Profit, we know that as the golden ratio, right? And everyone's golden ratio is different. So could see a sell-off 100%. So I'll set my alerts for what it's worth. If we see a break of pattern, then we can follow up with it. But I most likely think that it's bound to pull back. And that's just because it's a little bit more on the overbought side. And I don't see the margin of profit to be worth it. So I'm just sharing that with you. What's going on, Todd Henderson? Thank you again for tuning in. Hope you earned your thumbs up. So KPTI, here we go. All right, so what do you think about this one? It was a descending pattern. It's a therapeutics company. Do you know do I like therapeutic companies or do I not like them?
I do not remember.
No, I don't think I've ever shared with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're part of Learn, Plan, Profit, right? If you're part of Learn, Plan, Profit or have been a long-time subscriber, do I like bioscience, therapeutic, or cannabis companies?
I've heard you talk about this before when I've watched a little bit.
Yeah? You watched my videos before?
Yeah.
No, it's just preference. I've had really poor experiences with them where there's a lot of poor news, false advertising, not advertising, but false marketing, a lot of manipulation, a lot of pump and dumps, and a lot of this, right? And because of that, I choose to stay away from them. Just because I choose to stay away from something doesn't mean that you should or should not. I'm just sharing my opinion, and I hope that that's what you can take it as. I do agree that it has been showing signs of an uptrend. It is uptrending right now, regardless if I like it or not. It peaked out, it sold off, it found a support at the SMA line, it began to show signs of an uptrend. So right now, one of two things. It's either going to begin to pull back and actually continue to sell off, or we're actually going to see this potentially continue to rally. So I would say that right now it's almost at a critical point where I could see it go either way. And I'm going to set my alert here if it also breaks below the EMA line. And then I'm going to set my alert if it ends up breaking below the SMA line, which is what was previously a previous support. So these are all things that I would view as significant price points. Why would I want to set an alert? So I'm going to quiz you, Meg. Why would I want to set an alert at around $11? So what around $11 is significant? So this is where it's at right now. Mm-hmm. Why would I want to be alerted if it goes above 11?
Because then it's
showing signs of growth, right? Okay. Why would I want to get alerted if it breaks below $10?
Because it's showing a decline.
Yeah, it's pulling back and then it broke below the EMA line, right? And then why would I want to get alerted if it breaks below $9?
Because it's going below the SMA line.
Hooey! Now you guys know why she's my girlfriend. They're just significant to me. And because of that, that's why I set my alerts there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. And there's actually really big news with natural gas that I would be more than happy to share with you guys at the very end of the video. A lot of you guys were asking me about what I thought about natural gas. If you're paying attention to the natural gas future right now, natural gas is selling off. So I'm simply going to be sharing that with you guys, okay? Let's see. All right, let's see it. Here we go. So we got TJ asking for ticker color LG. What is that? IH. Here we go. All right. For everyone that's tuning in right now, is this one that you would add to your watch list? I'm not gonna say is this one that you should trade or not trade. If you are trying to grow your account, right? And you're busy with work, right? You're busy as you're going to be pursuing your next degree, right? You would be approaching this in a much more relaxed way. Is this something that you would consider that is showing signs of growth?
I think so, yeah.
So why?
Because it's above the SMA line, it continues to...
And it continues to make higher highs, right? It's continuously uptrending. Very simple things. It's anyone can see that it's continuously pushing up and it's attractive. If you would have followed up with this about 8 months ago and would have put $1,000, right, and saw that, hey, it was previously uptrending, with where it's at now, it's not, it is huge growth. That's 46%. So if you were to put $1,000, that's $460 more in that overall account.
Okay.
Pretty solid, right? So if something is showing signs of growth, you probably want to take part of it. Now, what do we always try to empower our members to be? So just because something is uptrending, should you buy it?
No.
When is the right time to buy? When something, as an investment, right, it would be viewed as when something is a good deal, right, and still indicating signs of an uptrend. So looking at this overall pattern, you could see that the SMA line is a pretty good indicator, not a perfect indicator, but a pretty good indicator on when something is a little bit more on, closer to the support. So right now with where it's at, it's still uptrending. It's still showing signs of an uptrend. You can see that the MACD is beginning to reverse. It's just been more aggressively pushing up. So I can see why someone from where it's at right now to maybe it pushing up 4 to 5%, they would find that to be attractive. If you wanted to get a really good deal, then I'd probably want to be alerted as it's closer, right, to the SMA line. And again, that's just me. But I could also see why, if it breaks above $85, why someone might want to follow up with this and add this to the watch list and simply even just watch it. So I think it's worth following up with. And because it has such an attractive pattern, I can definitely see why. The volume isn't the best, but again, it really depends on what you're trading with. So here we go. So CLSI. Let's go to move on to the next one. CLSI. All right. So what made you make that assumption? So why is this one a little shocking to you?
It has a really high peak and it seems kind of random, right?
Yeah. No, there's no right or wrong. It's some people are attracted and work better with other patterns. That would scare me. Right? So why would this scare you?
Because it seems unpredictable.
It's very volatile, right? That's what that volatility in this movement seems maybe too aggressive, right? Especially if you're someone that's just getting started, you might not want to, partake in this huge pump. You could see with the volume that it got pumped and then now it peaked, right? And now it's pulling back. So that volatility might be very attractive for short-term aggressive momentum traders, but that attractiveness in that niche comes in a very risky area. It doesn't mean that you can't do well with it. It just means that it comes at a greater risk, right? Now it's pulling back. It's at the EMA line on one of two things. It's going to find this to be a support and continue to uptrend, or it's going to continue to sell off. We don't know which way because really anything can happen, right? Depending on, if they continue to pump it. So I'm just going to set my alerts and we can follow up with it. Altogether, one of the things that you want to understand before getting into this position is understanding that, hey, it looks like it is being pumped. And you should take that into consideration that just imagine if you bought up here and where it's at now, it lost 43% of its value. And do you want to lose 43% of your account? It's just, don't just always think about the best case scenario and what's going to go right? Think about what can go wrong and set up a plan B, some form of risk management and have an understanding of that reward to risk ratio and ask yourself, Is it worth it? If it is, set up a plan and stick to it, right? If it's not, then it's not worth the risk, and move on to the next one. That's simple. You literally, think about this. Literally this upcoming week, you have the ability to decide what trades you choose to take advantage of. You cannot take any trades, and that might be one of the best decisions that you make. Or you can take very effective trades, and that might also be extremely beneficial. But again, feel comfortable, feel confident, and gain experience with every trade that you take. The more aggressive you become and the more sporadic, the more you're going to discourage yourself and the more uncomfortable you're going to feel within this market, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So the next one is going to be ticker symbol GUSH. All right, I don't think you'll like this one. This is a leveraged ETF. So this is a triple leveraged ETF, so it's a strong descending pattern. The reason people are talking about this one right now is because it sold off so aggressively that it looks like it's potentially finding a support, right? And because of that, it could potentially reverse. Or just like we've seen it before, where we think it finds a support and then it just continues to sell off. So what is one little thing that we can wait for to ensure that we get in when it's actually uptrending? We can set our alerts and then wait for confirmation of an uptrend, right? But just as much as it could go up, it could go down. So I'm going to set my alert for the break below 250 so we could follow up with it. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. So we've done about, 6? All right, let's go ahead and do 4 more. Confirmation, we got Drew Fit in the house. What's up? What's up? VSLR. What's going on, Turbo? Alrighty, VSLR. I want for everyone tuning in right now, say one either attractive or maybe not so attractive thing about VSLR. So what's one attractive thing about this?
I don't know, it was showing signs of an
Yeah,
uptrend.
it was showing signs of an uptrend. So like if it stayed true to it staying above the SMA line, then this would be attractive, right? What have we seen recently? If you look at it, it almost looks, it's a very ugly downward staircase pattern. And what I mean by that is like, look at this. It's literally making lower highs, right? Every single time, and lower lows as well. So that's what we call like just a simple downtrend pattern. So can it go up? Of course. I mean, it aggressively sold off, it found a support, and it looks like it's trying to push up. Cool. It can, 100%. It's been getting rejected by this SMA line. But what we've seen is that it continues to make these like lower highs, right? Mm-hmm. Lower highs, and it would make sense for lower highs as well. It's also been making these lower lows. So it's continuously selling off like slowly. So is that something that you think as a new trader you would want to put yourself in? Mm-hmm. The overall direction, to put it in super simple terms, are, what's it called? The overall direction is definitely not in your favor. So because of that, I would just say that it's probably in your best interest to stay away. I'm not saying that it's not worth it. I'm just saying it's probably in your best interest as you're just getting started to stay away from descending patterns. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. So yeah, I do think that it can go up. I think that the overall direction is definitely not in your favor. I think it's just bound to continue to sell off. So let's go ahead, and I like that. So I want to grow my account. Mark, right here with you, right? So ticker symbol GM. This is my boy Darwin. Darwin has been with us for a while. So ticker symbol GM, General Motors. What do you think about this as of now? It's selling off.
Oh, yeah, it's selling off now, but it's been very like up and down.
Yeah, it's been, are you saying like inconsistent?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Kind of all over the place, right? I can agree that for those that are looking at the big picture charts, you could see that like, wow, it's super oversold based off of recent patterns. It has a lot of margin to recover. Let's be honest, right? I think, Darwin, that both you and I can agree that there's been a lot of negative news with the market, especially with the GM going on right now. If I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of backlash with their current employees, if I'm not mistaken, that's currently going on with General Motors itself. On top of that, overall market has not been the most bullish lately, and it's still selling off. It's still below the SMA line, and yes, I do agree that it's kind of consolidating right now, but I would, if there's any time to wait for confirmation, I would say that it's definitely now, right? If there's any time to test your patience, I would say now, right? So let's see. All right, let's go ahead and do 2 more, and then we can go from there. Let's go ahead and do 2 more in the ticker call out format, and then I'm going to break down and give you guys a better understanding of what happened with natural gas. So J&J. Do you know what J&J is?
Mm-mm.
Johnson & Johnson. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, they have like all that baby food and stuff like that, right? And I don't know if it's baby food, but it's like the lotion, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. So Johnson & Johnson overall was kind of like consolidating, aggressively sold off. This one I would agree that this one's kind of all over the place. It has been consolidating for some time that I could see this thing begin to pick back up again, just that it does have an up-and-coming earnings report on 10/15. So what that means is there's this report that comes out, and it's usually like the natural gas report where it kind of tells like the companies and an update like, with where it's at, and it can either drive the price up or down for where it's at. So as of right now, I would say that it's definitely more on the overbought side. It's not viewed as the best deal, and I would still wait for a pullback before I would get in if you actually think it's going to recover. So again, just set yourself up for success. And although something is indicating signs of an uptrend, you still don't want to buy it while it's aggressively, overbought, right? You still want to get it for a good deal. So all right, here we go. So we got you guys that people are asking for us to break down. So what's going on, Caleb? That will be the last one that I break down. I just wanted to break down a couple other ones for our viewers. So Brandon is LABU. Here we go. All right, overall, very consistent descending pattern. I could see why it is that you're calling it out as, it's been consolidating. It broke above the EMA line. We could find this to be attractive. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. I can see this to be a pretty good reason. Why? We've seen this before where it breaks above the EMA line and then just continues to sell off. This is a perfect example. So yeah, it can push up, but based off of how it's been trading the overall aggressive descending pattern, it wouldn't really surprise us if it does end up selling off, right? So because of that, again, I would really wait for confirmation. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one and go from there. So here, I hope you see this. I'm 17 years old and I'm wanting to start investing in the stock market. Where should you start? So this is for everyone that's watching. So first of all, thank you again for tuning in, Dylan. I know that our videos are probably, especially these stock videos, are not the most entertaining videos. One of the biggest things that I want to empower anyone when it comes down to wanting to become successful or learn more about any market, in any market, right? Not just stocks, but Amazon FBA, drop shipping, Forex, cryptocurrency, everything worth learning takes time, right? It's not going to come easy, and that's not the idea that we want to present to you. So it's going to be a lot of practice. There's going to be a lot of mistakes that you're going to make. And I personally think, and again, take this as my opinion, Dylan, but I think with your parents' permission, because you're underage, for you to start paper trading. Paper trading does not cost you 1 penny, and it allows you to practice and test. This is the biggest thing. It allows you to test everything that you learn online. So if you're reviewing videos on YouTube, then until you find a working system, then why trade with real money? I would focus on, saving money. If you don't have a job, then I would get a job. It's something that I did to build capital. I bought and resold things. But in the meanwhile, if you're actually passionate about the stock market and what it has to offer, what I learned at a very early age is what assisted me in helping me buy my first house at age 20. And think about it. The stocks have nothing to do with real estate. Yet the concept of being able to understand and have a huge focus on getting something for a good deal, understanding overall market conditions, looking at similar comps and stuff like that, played a huge role in that. So if your overall goal and passion is the stock market, then great, pursue it with ease, enjoy the process, surround yourself with people that empower you and uplift you, and it's not a make it or break it. At least it wasn't for me. So practice everything that you learn. You can do that with paper trading, and there's so many different options out there. I would just say surround yourself with good people that empower you and that always push you just to become a little bit better than you were yesterday. So I hope that that's okay for me to share. But again, that's just my opinion on how I would start if I were you. But yeah, we have a free Facebook group. It's Tech Solutions, and it's the first link down below if you want to join. You can watch my videos. If you like the videos that you see on YouTube, then you most likely will like to be part of our free Facebook group, and we have a free Discord chat as well. We're the largest group on Facebook for those who day trade in the stock market. So let's go ahead and break down one more before we go there. So Amazon, what's going on, David? You okay?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
moving all over the place.
No, I know, my back hurts.
Okay, so overall, Amazon was showing signs of an uptrend pattern, began to sell off with the overall market. I would say, I don't know, Amazon has been really, really following the market and how it's been trading very closely. So when the market does very poor, Amazon follows, right? It plays a huge role. The market cap is huge. So with that being said, I would say I can see why, especially as it's been selling off so aggressively, that it would make sense that it could potentially, begin to uptrend. I don't think the margin of profit is worth it. Again, yeah, it can push up, but is it worth the risk? I don't think so. I think that there's much more attractive things that come with a more consistent ascending uptrend pattern. So because of that, I just wouldn't find this thing to be the most attractive. I'll set my alert for what it's worth. I would just say that if you're going to be following Amazon, then keep a close eye on the overall futures of the market and how they are trading as they do, as you'll have a little bit of a better understanding of how they're trading. So let's go ahead, and I wanted to end it if it's okay with you guys. You guys know that I have a huge focus on natural gas and crude oil. There was this mess. You guys, I want to show you in real time. So we'll go to the 1 day, 1 minute chart. We'll go to /NG, which is the future on the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform for natural gas. So what that means is this is its performance on Friday. This is where it closed out on Friday, and this is where it opened at today. So what caused such an aggressive sell-off? So if natural gas holds where it's at right now, based off of where it closed, D-gas will open up probably about 5% in the green. And you can, do the math with where it's at right now, where it closed at and where it's at right now. So this is about 1.5%, almost 1.6%. So then you multiply that by 3. And again, you get a little bit under 5% when it comes down to that. So with that being said, if you have access to TD Ameritrade, you can see the news and the updates that they have for you. So it says China pulls out of giant Iranian gas project. So what does that mean? One of the many articles that are available right now, and again, just Google search it and you'll learn more about it. It says that there was this $5 billion natural gas deal that, according to Iranian officials, China State Oil firm has withdrawn from it. Based off of my understanding and looking a little bit more into it, there has not been an official statement from China officials that they have pulled out on it, but there is talk that they're going to. So because of that, we saw a pretty aggressive pullback. We can see that that's the news that is being shared, and that makes sense, right? If there is a huge pullout on a potential project that they had going on, it makes sense on why natural gas were then pulled back. Again, is it going to continue to sell off? We'll have to see. All I want to remind you is that in my experience trading these specific commodities, and again, this is just in my opinion, I have not seen so much news being shared so frequently. There's so much tension going on with the market, our market, right? Our market condition and our economy. On top of that, China's economy, right? On top of that, the trade war between the United States and China. On top of that, the attack that we saw on Saudi Arabia and the huge refineries. There's just so much tension and so much news that is being shared that technicals are really difficult to trade with as of now because of the inconsistency and the continuous shift of direction. And because of that, I would say if there's ever been a time to be more selective, more patient, and more picky on what you choose to trade, I believe that it's now, right? So with that being said, I really hope that out of this entire Sunday stock talk, I really hope that the biggest piece of advice or words that you listen to are just the idea of it's trading less now that I think would be most effective. Put yourself less at risk and focus on only quality trades. Feel comfortable, feel confident, enjoy the process, And again, over time, you'll simply begin to gain experience. There's no reason to rush the process, especially if you're surrounding yourself with people that you really do enjoy. So I really do appreciate your guys' time. I hope that you guys enjoyed this Sunday Stock Talk. I hope that by having my girlfriend Megan here, we earned your thumbs up for this video. If you guys have any questions or suggestions for future videos on what you guys would like to see, drop that down in the comment section. Again, don't forget to join our free Facebook group. The link should be down below. Feel free to refresh the page if you do not see it. On top of that, if you guys want to join our Learn Plan Profit group and want my help, the only team that I personally work with every single day is the Learn Plan Profit team. They're the team that gets to watch me trade live every single day. So again, that is going to be that second link down below. What happened?
Nothing.
Oh, you squeezed my hand, so yeah. But again, that's that second link down below if you guys want to take 2 minutes and learn a little bit more about the Learn Plan Profit group and to see if it's a good fit for you. So really do appreciate your guys' time. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Be selective, be patient, enjoy the process. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.